when 29-year-old Amanda Keller tearfully called 911, gasping between sobs that her ex-husband had snatched their 3-year-old daughter. The country watched in horror. A desperate mother, betrayed by the man she once loved, claiming her child had vanished into thin air during a bitter custody battle. The FBI launched a nationwide manhunt. Amber Alerts lit up phones across state lines. The father, Evan Mercer, was quickly labeled a fugitive, his face smeared across news reports. His freedom stripped overnight. But behind Amanda's trembling voice and tear-stained face, something didn't add up. Detectives began peeling back layers of her story. Surveillance footage didn't match her timeline. Witnesses contradicted her claims. And soon, what they uncovered was a chilling twist that no one saw coming. There was no kidnapping. There never was. This wasn't just about revenge. This was about control, manipulation, and the lengths one woman would go to rewrite the narrative and her own guilt. What the police ultimately discovered behind Amanda's lie would shake even the most seasoned agents. Because buried beneath her web of deception was a crime far darker than anyone imagined. Welcome to Dark Crime Vault, where the darkest mysteries are brought to light. If you're into true crime stories that dig deep, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a case. Thank you for watching and being part of the vault. In the heart of suburban Indiana, nestled in a quiet cul-de-sac where neighbors waved and kids rode bikes down the sidewalk, 29-year-old Amanda Keller appeared to be just another struggling single mom trying to make the best of a broken home. She lived in a modest 2-bedroom house with her bright, bubbly 3-year-old daughter, Lily Mercer, a little girl with messy curls and an obsession with ladybugs and cartoons. Amanda was known around the neighborhood as polite, somewhat private, and fiercely protective of Lily. But behind the closed doors of that house was a woman teetering on the edge, a woman who would stop at nothing to get what she wanted, even if it meant faking a crime, manipulating the FBI, and destroying the life of the man she once claimed to love. That man was Evan Mercer, 33, Amanda's ex-husband and Lily's father. A quiet, soft-spoken systems analyst at a mid-sized tech firm, Evan had never been one for drama. Intelligent, introverted, and always calm under pressure, he met Amanda 6 years earlier at a tech conference where she was working in hospitality. What started as casual conversation turned into late-night texts, then weekend visits, and eventually a whirlwind romance that led to marriage in under a year. At first, everything seemed perfect. They had their daughter Lily a year later. But beneath their fast-paced love story were cracks that slowly widened. Amanda struggled with emotional regulation, according to friends, quick to anger, prone to impulsive decisions, and fiercely territorial. Evan, who preferred logic and space over conflict, began to pull away. Tension at home escalated. What began as miscommunication became shouting matches. Amanda accused Evan of being emotionally distant. Evan feared Amanda's outbursts and controlling behavior. Eventually, he filed for separation, something Amanda did not take lightly. The custody battle that followed was vicious. Amanda accused Evan of being unfit, citing old text messages, arguments, and his long work hours. Evan, on the other hand, sought shared custody, believing Lily deserved to know both parents. But when a judge granted Amanda primary custody with limited visitation for Evan, her anger seemed to reach a breaking point. Then, just 3 months after the final custody ruling, Amanda made a chilling 911 call. Her voice cracked with panic as she claimed Evan had abducted Lily from their front yard, that he'd taken off in his car and disappeared. Within hours, the FBI was involved. Within days, Evan's face was plastered across the news as a wanted fugitive. And for weeks, the nation believed they were watching a custody dispute gone horribly wrong. But what no one knew, not the FBI, not Evan, not the media, was that there had been no abduction at all. Amanda Keller had lied. She had framed her ex-husband in one of the most elaborate, chilling, and emotionally disturbing acts of deception in recent memory. And what police would eventually uncover behind the walls of Amanda's home would not only clear Evan's name, it would reveal a dark, calculated mind, willing to sacrifice everything, even her own daughter. At first glance, Amanda Keller's story was painfully believable. A young, single mother in distress. A bitter custody battle. a volatile ex-husband who had allegedly threatened to take their daughter and disappear. The narrative was compelling, heart-wrenching, and all too familiar to the public. But beneath the surface of this emotional tale was a deeply flawed investigation, a rushed manhunt, and a web of lies that almost destroyed an innocent man's life. The story began with a single call. Amanda's voice was trembling, raw with panic. She told police that her 3-year-old daughter, Lily, had been taken from her driveway while playing with her toys. She claimed to have seen Evan's car speeding away down the street, her baby strapped into the back seat, helpless. She said he'd threatened her weeks earlier, warning her she'd never see Lily again, and she insisted she had no idea where he'd gone. With the custody battle already volatile, Amanda's claims felt tragically plausible. Evan Mercer had lost joint custody just 2 months earlier due to a heated courtroom dispute. He was behind on child support and had reportedly sent Amanda a series of aggressive text messages. On paper, it seemed to fit. The angry father pushed too far. Law enforcement didn't hesitate. Within hours, an Amber Alert was issued. The FBI became involved. Evan's name and photo were released nationally. He was painted as a child abductor, a man on the run. His house was raided. His bank accounts were frozen. His friends were questioned. His phone records were seized. The media exploded with headlines like, "Father abducts daughter during custody dispute," and "Search intensifies for dangerous fugitive dad." But the truth was far more complicated and far more tragic. Amanda was composed enough to deliver precise details. Make and model of Evan's car, approximate time of the abduction, what Lily was wearing, even Evan's supposed direction of travel. These specifics lent her credibility early on, but in retrospect, they raised red flags. She seemed too ready with her story. Investigators found text messages from Evan that appeared aggressive when isolated. Statements like, "You'll be sorry," and "I won't let you take her from me." But what the investigators initially missed was the broader context. Those texts were from months prior, in response to a custody disagreement. Amanda had selectively deleted her own side of the conversation. Despite Amanda's claims, no neighbors saw a car speed away that morning. A canvass of the area produced no credible eyewitnesses. Still, this didn't deter police because the narrative seemed airtight. Investigators reviewed surveillance from a gas station near Amanda's house, hoping to capture Evan's vehicle. Instead, they found no sign of his car at all. Police noted the inconsistency, but Amanda claimed Evan had taken back roads, and the footage was quietly disregarded. Evan insisted he was nowhere near the scene. He had been at work verified by coworkers and time-stamped digital logins. But the emotional pressure of the case and Amanda's believable tears meant his alibi was initially dismissed as fabricated. As the media frenzy built, Evan's life unraveled at terrifying speed. He was arrested just 3 days after the alert, went out pulled over in front of his sister's home, surrounded by armed federal agents. Though he insisted on his innocence, the damage was already done. Friends and family began distancing themselves. Evan's own parents, unsure of what to believe, issued a cautious public statement pleading for Lily's safe return. Evan was suspended without pay from his job as a systems analyst. Within weeks, he was formally terminated. His career, built over 10 years, was gone overnight. His face was everywhere. Newspapers, local news channels, Facebook pages. He was vilified before ever stepping into a courtroom. Strangers spat at him in public. One neighbor threatened him in front of his house. Evan spiraled into depression. He was placed on suicide watch while in custody. The shame, the isolation, and the feeling of helplessness knowing his daughter was somewhere unknown while being falsely accused was a torment few could endure. The system failed him, but it wasn't just the system. Evan's wrongful accusation was not solely a result of a flawed investigation. It was a convergence of emotional manipulation, rushed judgment, media bias, and a desperate desire to protect a child even if it meant overlooking inconsistencies. And at the center of it all was Amanda. Calm, calculated, and convincing. As weeks passed and no trace of Lily or Evan's alleged involvement emerged, authorities were forced to consider the unthinkable. What if Amanda had orchestrated the entire thing? What if there was no kidnapping at all? What if the person everyone trusted most, the heartbroken mother on every news channel, was lying? From the beginning, FBI forensic experts noticed problems with Amanda's narrative. According to her 911 call, Lily had been playing in the front yard with her toys when Evan suddenly appeared, grabbed the child, and sped off. But there were no signs of struggle, no scuffed footprints in the grass, no overturned toys, no torn clothing, no tire marks on the driveway or street. The plastic toys Amanda mentioned were stacked neatly on the porch, not scattered as one would expect during a violent snatching. The house's Ring camera was mysteriously offline that morning. Amanda claimed the Wi-Fi router had just stopped working, but the tech team discovered the footage had been manually deleted from the cloud account. And then came the next blow. Evan's car was still at his apartment, parked exactly where his landlord said it had been for 3 days. If he had sped away from Amanda's home that morning, how did the vehicle never move? The investigation soon turned to external surveillance. Amanda had claimed Evan fled south on Ridgeview Avenue, a road lined with gas stations, fast food restaurants, and at least 4 working surveillance cameras. FBI agents reviewed over 12 hours of security footage from the neighborhood, spanning a 5-hour window around the alleged abduction. They found no sign of Evan's vehicle. In fact, no unfamiliar vehicles were recorded leaving Amanda Street in the window she provided. Simultaneously, digital forensics painted a different picture than Amanda's. Evan had logged into his remote work system from his apartment at 8:13 a.m., the morning of the alleged kidnapping, 23 minutes before Amanda said the crime occurred. His VPN connection remained active for the next 7 hours, and geolocation data from his devices confirmed his location. Still, Amanda remained composed under questioning. She cried on cue, offered heartfelt memories of her daughter, and continually pointed to Evan's past anger as proof of what he was capable of. But the FBI wasn't buying it anymore. When investigators pulled Amanda's full phone records, including deleted messages, a far more disturbing pattern emerged. She had manipulated a chain of text messages to make Evan look violent, trimming out her own provocation and sarcastic threats. One message Amanda had cited in court, where Evan allegedly wrote, "I'll take her away forever," had actually been in reference to moving out of state and pursuing full custody legally. Additionally, the FBI uncovered search history from Amanda's phone showing phrases like, "how to make someone look guilty of kidnapping," "custody revenge plans," "how to disable Ring doorbell," "how long before the FBI gets involved in child kidnapping." The timeline Amanda presented quickly began to collapse. She said she had searched for Lily for 15 minutes before calling 911, but her call logs and browser history showed that between the time she claimed the kidnapping occurred and her emergency call, she was messaging a friend on Facebook about Evan finally crossing the line. Amanda told investigators that a neighbor had seen Evan's car and even waved to him. But when the FBI interviewed that same neighbor, a 74-year-old retiree named Dennis Fuller, he stated he hadn't seen anything that morning and had only heard about the incident from Amanda later. Another witness, a delivery driver from a local flower shop, came forward after seeing the Amber Alert on the news. She had made a delivery on Amanda Street that morning and told police she saw no distressed woman, no chaos, no police presence, not even a crying child. Instead, she remembered Amanda walking to the curb calmly with a phone in hand, not looking around, not crying, just waiting. As Amanda's story crumbled, the FBI brought in a behavioral analysis expert, a profiler who had worked on high-profile abduction hoaxes in the past. His assessment was damning. Amanda displayed several signs of a pathological liar with narcissistic tendencies, including manipulation, need for control, emotional exploitation, and selective victimization. She didn't appear to be a grieving mother. She appeared to be a performance artist, one who was unraveling under pressure. 2 weeks into the investigation, after Amanda's inconsistencies became undeniable, the FBI executed a second search warrant on her home. This time, they brought cadaver dogs. In the basement, hidden behind a false panel in the laundry room, agents discovered a small crawl space barely large enough for an adult to fit into. Inside was a sleeping bag, a stuffed bear, juice boxes, a tablet loaded with cartoons, and a frightened, dehydrated, but alive little girl, Lily. Amanda had kept her daughter hidden in the house the entire time. She had drugged the child with children's Benadryl to keep her quiet during the initial search. When Lily was found, she was malnourished, disoriented, and barely verbal, believing her father had gone away forever. Just as Amanda had told her, Amanda Keller was arrested immediately. The charges were extensive: filing a false police report, child endangerment, custodial interference, obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, attempted criminal framing. Evan Mercer was not only exonerated, but a formal public apology was issued by the FBI and local law enforcement. His record was cleared, but his life remained shattered by months of trauma, public humiliation, and emotional devastation. Amanda's goal had never been to protect her daughter. It was to control the narrative, to punish her ex-husband, and to ensure full custody by any means necessary. What the FBI uncovered was more than a lie. It was a calculated act of emotional terrorism, built on deceit, manipulation, and a terrifying disregard for the well-being of her own child. The case of Amanda Keller is more than just a twisted tale of lies and deception. It is a sobering reminder of how fragile the justice system can be when truth is weaponized. What began as a heartbreaking report of a missing child turned into a calculated act of manipulation that nearly destroyed an innocent man's life. Through forensic evidence, digital footprints, behavioral profiling, and the unwavering work of investigators, the truth was finally uncovered. Amanda Keller had not only lied about her daughter's abduction, but had gone so far as to stage a federal crime, deceive the public, manipulate law enforcement, and emotionally damage her 3-year-old daughter, all to punish her ex-husband, Evan Mercer, for daring to walk away. Evan was publicly exonerated, but the scars of this ordeal, his wrongful vilification, the emotional trauma, and the weeks of believing his daughter was truly gone, may never fully fade. Amanda now faces a long list of charges, but the true damage she caused reaches far beyond legal consequences. She violated the trust of law enforcement, exploited a system designed to protect children, and attempted to rewrite reality to fit her personal vendetta. This case serves as a critical warning for the justice system, that emotional performance is not evidence, that even the most convincing narratives must be questioned, and that truth must always be pursued, no matter how uncomfortable it becomes. It also highlights the vital importance of due process, digital forensics, and thorough investigation. Without them, Evan Mercer might still be a wanted man. Lily might still be missing, and Amanda Keller might still be seen as the grieving mother she pretended to be. But justice, though delayed, was not denied. And in a world where lies can go viral faster than facts, this case stands as a solemn reminder. Truth matters, evidence matters, and in the end, justice is not just about belief, it's about proof. What do you think about the Amanda Keller case? Do you believe justice was truly served? Have you or someone you know ever faced a false accusation? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and join the conversation. Your voice matters, especially in cases where truth and justice collide in such disturbing ways. If you found this story as shocking and powerful as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dark Crime Vault for more real-life cases that reveal the darkest corners of the human mind. Thanks for watching, and remember, the truth is out there. It just needs to be found.